Welcome back to the 2014 Summer Playoff Championship. We're gearing up for Game 4 between Team SoloMid and Cloud9. And guys, Cloud9 coming back to answer TSM with a win there in Game 3 and pull ahead in the series 2-1. So when we look at that team, I feel like a lot of that is due in part to Sneaky's consistency as a player.
Yeah, Sneaky's just being the anchor for C9 right now. He's putting out consistent DPS, not dying at all, and just basically doing what any AD carry has to do right now in this meta.
And then over on the other side with TSM, of course, we have WildTurtle, who doesn't quite play as safe as Sneaky does.
It's the complete opposite. A little inconsistency there, but he's consistent because he's always a wild card. You don't know if he's going to go off, if he's going to jump in or away, if he's going to buster shot a Maokai away instead of finishing him. You don't know what you're going to get with him from game to game. And I think that what they need to do is get Turtle on a leash and basically allow him to go loose, but still have his team behind him.
You do have to love the fact that he goes for plays. He's looking to be a playmaker and be the reason why they pull out a game. The teams are set for Game 4, though, so we're going to send it over to Riv and Jat for the play-by-play.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and we are almost ready to get into Champion Select. Everybody is wondering what could happen between these two teams. There is so much on the line here. Obviously, both have their trip set in stone, but for this to happen, it really means something in that first place.
Yeah, even just saying that they're the best team in North America will mean a lot for these guys going towards future North American LCS seasons and trips toward Worlds. If we look at this series in particular, though, this is the exact same situation TSM was in against LMQ. That series went back and forth, blue side, blue side, blue side, blue side, winning every game until Game 5 where it turned. So it's not some insurmountable thing for TSM. They've already broken the curse that they can't beat Cloud9, and they've shown that they can come back from 2 down in a series. So it's still anyone's game.
Hey man, history can repeat itself. It has before, but also these guys are trying to change what happens in the future. I don't know if they can do that. Might need a Vel'Koz. Might need something from the Void for that.
Well, I like the adjustment by Cloud9 Red Side to ban Syndra away right off the bat. They know the TSM is going to ban Zillion.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Easily picked out there in the ban list. Zed as well. See, will be the Alistar, the Maokai. Alistar proved quite useful for initiations that Dyrus had to bring to the team. The Maokai taken away from Balls and the Alistar taken away from Dyrus. So, what do we choose here? It is going to be the Rise possibility for the top lane.
Is this the LMQ series again, where Rise was first picked all the time?
All the time.
I mean, Dyrus will be pretty happy if he decides to lock that in. I wonder if this also opens Lee Sin for TSM. Cloud9 willing to let a couple of things through just so they can deny the Syndra and the Alistar. Another thing that is known is that High will not get Zed this game, which has been far and away his best champion. Plenty to decide here. Meteos has been picking a lot of Elise. And the new the fact that it's not banned is pretty big. Totally different team comp for Cloud9.
Let's see if they actually grab the Thresh for themselves as well. A lot of control to come out from Cloud9. They definitely have the walk-in initiation or delivery of it. Amazing now. He has not been super banned out this game. What does he decide to do?
I mean, he's had his choice of Kha'Zix every game, and now the question will really be, does he want to play his tried and true Lee Sin that became his known champion? They don't actually need to pick it yet. There's their fair share of supports available. I wonder if the series would actually turn in such a way that supports become kind of the last pick here, since they've already decided who the mid laners and top laner matchups will kind of be, so there's not much counter picking left there. Just because Nami and Braum both have definitive counter picks, you pick Morg against Braum, you pick Braum against Nami.
Yeah.
And whenever you show your hand, you're always getting countered in all these games, unless Cloud9 saves their last pick for support, which they actually might do, or they can just do it now because Nami has been shown.
They want it, absolutely. Going to be able to take that for themselves, especially if High grabs Yasuo. They won't have, or not High Yasuo, he has that. I was going to say the Engage. Already on Orianna. Getting ahead of myself. So High's probably going to be picking up now an AD carry and what they're looking for. Possibly top lane.
Can do whatever they want. They don't need to pick the top laner
you already see it.
until it's fully decided. There's still a chance that Bjergsen would play Rise. It's 90% Dyrus' pick, though.
much communication. Looks like Kai is actually just the one talking on this one.
As per usual.
As per usual, indeed. Which, in fact, you talk about TSM's comms at the end of that reel. They were quite calm themselves in a chaotic fight, and that's not usually the case. A lot of voices talking there, but they seem to pan things out. Sneaky again onto Kog'Maw. When it's not Trist, it's Kog'Maw. It was the same thing against Curse, and he's going to do it again. High grabs up Braum for elimination. She's blocking those waves.
Makes the most sense. Also, the Kog'Maw was so dominating for Sneaky last game.
Where you get free farm, you get your breakpoint of a Triforce so early, and they utilize that damage very well.
Yeah, Kog'Maw was able to outrange pretty much everyone. Kog'Maw does not outrange Xerath, though. And that could be a pretty nice pick for TSM. I like that. He's had some dominating performances on Xerath.
Did the same thing.
And they have Amazing's, the hope of Amazing as an initiator, or just Rise running in really fast. So a little bit more initiation this time for TSM. Still not a huge amount.
Right, you can still keep saying kind of the LMQ composition that's coming out from these guys. But on the flip side, that was Bjergsen that was raining down damage onto Xiaowei Xiao's Orianna. So we might try to do the same thing to High and get him cut down in health really early in that mid lane.
Dr. Mundo right here to go against Dyrus' Rise as well.
Very nice.
You know that's a very swingy matchup. If Mundo can actually get ahead of the Rise, it could mean trouble. And I need to see this game whether or not Cloud9 continues with their solo AD carry strategy. Kog'Maw against Rise. Kog'Maw can beat up on Rise in 1v1 lanes. And it'll again be on Balls and LemonNation to form a new duo of sorts.
Mundo Braum's a little bit easier to farm with. I mean, you can throw cleavers at least. You're throwing saplings and hoping they'll hit the right ones on the other time. As the teams take to the Rift, remember to vote for who you think which team will win and run away with the series here, possibly. Tweet hashtag TSM or hashtag Cloud9, or C9 win, I should say, to @LOL Esports. We'll be updating those throughout the game. Also, maybe some tweets if we find them relative to the game.
Yeah, true. Occasionally
Usually
we
see
have.
some of the like Scara tweets or Crepo tweets, like, nope, yep.
Crepo tweeted last game that the, I think he was calling it the Bramaukai lane.
The
was somewhat
Bramaukai.
successful in the bottom lane.
The Malbro.
It's pretty popular now, especially with Cloud9 just trying to lane that bruiser with a support.
It's interesting. Is there anything that you would want to do to that or to try to stop that? I mean, you could match it, but then do you really put your AD carries against each other? That'd be such a back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. It's a sacrifice. It puts so much emphasis on Sneaky. It's basically, if they pick a top laner that can punish an AD carry, then you're not allowed to do that strategy. But just all the top laners people are playing right now do get punished 1v1 by AD carries.
This is going to formulate into ADTF and AD Kennen. They're coming back, man. They're coming back. Probably not. We can always hope, or at least I can. But we are going to hop in here. It's going to be game 4. 2 now for Cloud9, 1 for Team SoloMid, and they are back against the ropes here. Cloud9 could be taking the title of North American champions once again with a victory. Long game to go, Jat, and we are just getting underway here for game 4.
Yeah, and last game probably took a pretty big mental toll on TSM, even though they are a team built for endurance. Losing such a low kill game 39 minutes in definitely hurts.
There we go. Good laughs. It's a good way to start it. We know everybody's feeling all right. Cleaver dodging.
Just wants this vision.
Ooh. Said, yeah, you got the business, I'll give you some too. So there it is, Bjergsen starting again, trying to rain down. Hit up high in the mid lane. We've been seeing that command protect was leveled by most of the Oriannas here to not take damage early. Lustboy finding himself caught for a second, but High and the rest cannot pursue without the vision they need. Just wanted
That's
that
a pretty good slow on to High.
Oh, they connect the Sonic Wave. Turtle jumps over the wall, takes Rocket Jump first. Everybody's in range to keep going, and that's all the summoners down. But what else can be used? Amazing Sonic Wave going to be coming up. Oh, he missed it. It's in the brush. It's going to be the shot. First blood going over to Amazing. This is what happened for Cloud9, but it's all in favor of TSM this time.
Wow, so 325 gold there into the pockets of Amazing. That'll be some early items for him if he so chooses. Cloud9 getting a little bit cheeky trying to get the harass down to Lustboy, ends up costing them first blood, and in the worst of ways as well. High needs to be the one ahead in these games, and the fact that he started 0-1 could be disastrous.
Starts 0-1.
Plus this Lee Sin. What's going to happen?
And he's completely down summoners in that mid lane. Amazing comes around the corner. They're not able to take that away from the Nunu. Very hard to do. Meteos still able to make it out, but expect return trips to that no flash, no heal High in mid lane.
Yeah, it actually ends up that Meteos may be able to get a 3-buff start. It depends on how quickly they run towards that. Lustboy's going to go there, and TSM seems very committed to not letting this happen. They're willing to support this with 5 people. This should push Meteos off.
Ooh. I love this. We're getting out a great 4th game here. 2:30 in. Everybody's still being level 1. High coming in at level 2, so we can actually provide quite a bit of damage or protection for the team.
Really nice flash there by Dyrus to keep himself safe. TSM still trying to make this collapse happen because they have the number advantage.
Bjergsen's got only range. He didn't take the stun, so it's everything they can hit now. High goes down after he just comes back up. He only has 4 CS to his name and still no summoners. This is not over yet. Level 1 bloody fights all over the place.
How crazy can this one get right now? All the while, Sneaky has been farming in that top lane, but these kills are very beneficial for TSM. Bjergsen gets going on Xerath. There's very little to stop him.
Very, very little. He is awesome at hitting those ultimates, and he puts himself in a position to do so. See if he can get a roam on that Xerath quite soon as well. If you will just continue to batter down on high, do you leave that lane and kind of say, after I get up in CS, I mean, this is it, and I roam, or do you just keep taking him down?
No, Sneaky's got to keep farming, for one.
So I'm at high.
Oh, high cannot leave that lane, and neither can Bjergsen for that matter.
Okay.
Bjergsen has enough range with his ultimate
He just keeps
that he can support jungle invades, but he just needs to continue to focus on this mid lane, especially this early on into the game.
All right, see if he can keep that pressure on. Now we get to see this friendly, or frenemy, as you would say, mid lane that plays against each other so much. Can High come back from such a deficit against Bjergsen after being the one to kind of teach him a little bit more as he came over to the NA and about aggression?
And finally a switch up in strategy from TSM as well, taking the early game lead and actually forcing Sneaky into a 2v1, which will potentially in turn force Lemon up to helping Sneaky and give TSM the 1v2 lane that Cloud9 is actually trying to force if we end up seeing that swap back and forth.
Yeah, they can't quickly organize LemonNation out of the bottom lane. Doesn't want to lose too much experience and come up here and just die to a duo, so they're keeping it. And Meteos is actually going to hold off as well. More roam coming in from Lustboy. Let's see if they try to clear. He doesn't have a sweeper, so he's just laying him down. Oh, pink. Go figure.
Huh. Well,
great play. That's one thing that TSM and a lot of other players have said that he brought to the table, Lustboy, is vision control for TSM in the early game.
And I really wonder how Cloud9 is going to try and recover from that early game. They definitely overreached with that. If the enemy team is willing to invade 5 people at 3 minutes into your blue buff, you should just give it up. Meteos could have easily went back and still maintained double buffs as Nunu, but instead decided to stick around, thinking that the Nunu presence was enough.
You're gonna get 2 nice deep wards in here and make sure they have coverage over everything. Keep this snowball rolling downhill. And they know they're at least in the jungle, so Cloud9 can stay pretty safe throughout this. And you see it's gonna have to be Meteos as well, making sure that safety is there. He heads down to the bottom to provide protection as well. Good sweep though.
Yeah, so actually Lustboy, after getting some vision control in the top lane, decides to abandon and go up back to WildTurtle and leave Dyrus with Sneaky. Sneaky's going to continue to farm that lane really well. He'll just be vulnerable to some ganks. Balls comes back before he's full on health actually, and is going to continue to eat some harass.
Definitely a good game for Meteos to be on Nunu. Able to build that quill coat, get out the vision early, buys wards for himself as well. And Lustboy back down to the bottom lane. So we get somewhat of the matchups we've been seeing throughout this series, at least. Let's see how Bjergsen's doing in the mid. Level 5 for High as well, 31 to 29. So High has been able to stay quite safe here. Meteos just says, hey, how's it going?
Trying to give High some free farm time. Maybe even get a little bit of harass down onto Bjergsen. Maybe they're just trying to make Amazing show where he is at. It's a little dangerous knowing the gold lead that Amazing has if they're actually going to fight. 2 longswords to just a quill coat isn't exactly very fair.
High putting the levels in queue this game, making sure he can dodge out, move the ball enough to be farming. That's skill shot, crazy lane. Gotta be boots coming out fast for both of them.
You'd think so. High's a pretty good dodger.
Yeah, that he is. Good pressure. This is what we've been seeing with those 2, I should say, melees as they are. Mundo trying to throw out cleavers, but also in the top lane, getting a little bit of love.
Is vulnerable here.
Uh-oh. Mirrored on both sides. Dyrus knows this. He's like, man, deja vu every time.
They don't have the minions, though. I mean, they're going to be going for Dragon. I wonder how much support they have. And yeah, if he can just get out of there. Really nice move there by Dyrus to give his team a dragon.
He gets back. Living Artillery says he went all the way back to base, but like I said, not going to matter. They're just going to try to grab buffs off of this. Bjergsen may be hurt a little bit, but with the dragon, they'll be able to get his chalice.
Oh, they have messed up this pull really severely, but they still managed to take it. It took much more health than it needed to.
So first dragon going down in the game. It's only going to be about 1,000 gold lead, just over actually. 1,000 gold lead here. Almost the finished up fighting for Amazing. He comes out with the 2 long swords, but can't yet finish his jungle item. So good start here for Team SoloMid. When they've gotten that start, they've been able to turn the game around and hold it quite well. But last time they were ferocious and continuously chopping at the bit to be at Cloud9. A very much more relaxed game here, so I wonder if they can hold this lead.
Yeah, TSM does do very well with leads, and more so, Cloud9 does so much better with leads. I mean, if Cloud9 doesn't actually lose leads when they have early game leads. So if TSM is to win games, they generally have to jump out early on, and they've been able to do so here. Cloud9 made substantial early game mistakes. TSM capitalized very, very well. The early BF sword on WildTurtle should hopefully keep him ahead of Kog'Maw. If they can withstand sneaky, if they can withstand sneaky in team fights, it would lead to a TSM victory, because that was actually the main thing that led to Cloud9's victory last game. Not as much high Zed, but more so Sneaky's Kog'Maw. He was creating so many little plays throughout the game that he was just making the windows with which High could exploit. A little bit different game, obviously, this time. Cloud9 was a vastly different team composition, but still that Kog'Maw.
So Amazing, 1-0-1. Bjergsen as well. The two that love to get going early, as we have a little back and forth here in the bottom lane. You can see that Phage putting out damage with the Bio Arcane Barrage. Turtles, the BF sword still doesn't equal that damage right away, even with Lustboy's extra damage added on. So they're starting to find that the matched up lanes starting in favor a bit of Cloud9. Meteos on the top side after taking the blue gets his red. These guys are very buff oriented this game with that nude. Well played.
Yeah, definitely some control being taken back by Cloud9. The last 3 buffs were taken by them. They got the blue and the Meteos, this time controlled both of them. And as you said, the CS numbers have been favoring Cloud9, both Mundo as well as Sneaky. High the only member who is behind. But we know how that goes when High is far behind on Cloud9. Usually not very well.
Right, absolutely. A few kind of antsy engages. We've seen it previously on the Zed. We saw it going after the Alistar, but it seems like Cloud9 with their last win has kind of wicked away those cobwebs and made sure that there's nothing else that they can make a mistake on. So far 2-0 as TSM has made their advantages in this one. Crazy level 1 fights, especially for a best of 5 series. This
Oh, nice job.
WildTurtle putting on the shell and he goes hard. Amazing's right on the backside. A great flash out, but it's not gonna be enough. The Tempest hits with the Ignite being on, and it is gonna be enough damage for Sneaky to go down. Beautifully played.
WildTurtle with the awesome shot back onto Sneaky. First off, he jumped through his Living Artillery and then just went full on aggression. Nothing Sneaky could do in that situation. Too quick with WildTurtle.
Oh, a little too close for comfort there, Bjergsen. You're getting in the personal bubble.
Oh no.
Wow, that is incredibly a misplay by Bjergsen, standing right in front of the turret. Wait a minute. That's not gonna be enough. He's got enough snowballs.
So Bjergsen with a rare mistake in the mid lane, but I can't wait to see that kill in the bottom lane once again.
That was great.
Check out the WildTurtle's
like, amazing, you can do this, but watch.
Yeah, and there's a big mid lane push coming from Cloud9 as well, trying to keep this a little bit equal. So much of Cloud9 has been outmatched this game, but they're really just trying to survive.
Survive indeed. Once TSM gets their teeth sunk in, they just continue to bite. Still going towards, what is this? BF into Infinity Edge. Actually, we get to see it again.
Yeah,
Here
watch this. Now,
the slow.
So WildTurtle did something that is really hard to notice at first glance. It wasn't a flash buster shot. It was a buster shot flash. So he started his R cast time, flashed in front, and basically like Tristana insect someone like Elise Sin would.
Heck yeah.
So it made it so Sneaky could not reactively flash away the buster shot. If he had flashed behind and then busted, Sneaky would have probably been able to get away, but not that time.
Yeah,
because of the WildTurtle mechanics.
And they actually nicely get the flash after that as well. Sneaky trying to escape on it. So everything going in their favor. They have summoners up in the bottom lane. Just the exhaust coming in for LemonNation. So they'll be trying to defy the attack. 98-74 still in that lane. We did see that Sneaky got his Triforce spike quite early last game. He may be hindered just a little bit as he spent quite a bit of money just now. Coming back with just a Sheen. Minute on the Dragon. That Sheen's definitely going to help in the overall fight. So good on both of the AD carries to keep it going. 0-0-3 for Turtle. Sneaky 0-1-0, who we were saying was a big factor in that win last game. See if he can still come back to that position from a 0-1-0.
Yeah, it's not the ideal place for him to be. That's for sure. Sneaky's such a consistent player. But now, you know, all of Cloud9 is on their back foot. And it's on TSM to close this one out. They have the ability to. We know they've done this before.
Not so much forward vision. You can see how hesitant they are to go past this. Buster shot instantly used. Being very calm.
They know the shield is down.
For at least amazing to maybe get in range, and then they would get the Xerath ultimate. We had Bjergsen on slight rotation to the bottom. Very tricky, Dyrus. Be careful. He has not found good results in this side of the river. He does have to flash. Throws down the ultimate for the extra movement speed, and he gets himself to safety.
Yeah, but that's a 3-man rotation by Cloud9 when Dragon is also up right now. They are very much in avoidance mode of TSM right now. And instead of just taking what Cloud9 wanted to give TSM, TSM takes more than Cloud9 is willing to give by taking that mid turret and then looking down for the Dragon.
Even though Dyrus wasted ult and flasher, that was very big. Cloud9 was trying to repeat the same thing they did last time. They would have gotten some good control off of that. And now TSM running amok. They're going to go ahead and steal some buffs now. Deplete the jungle of Cloud9 and not even take that. So leave them with something else to think about. It's the Dragon dance about to happen.
Trying to starve Cloud9 as much as possible, for sure. Sneaky, however, level 9, so he's got 5 points in that Bio-Arcane Barrage. Yet, he is so vulnerable to the Xerath. That's one of the brilliant things about the Xerath pick into the Cogmon. Making him dance around just the super long-range skill shots and will not be able to maximize his DPS.
So if they can keep that blue away from him like they just did, it's not going to make Sneaky that much trouble from the back line as he was last time. TSM's going to hunker down, and they are going to lock down this Dragon. Very nicely done. Already 3,000 in the gold lead, and they are going to pop that up to about 4.2. Very nicely done. 2 of 2 Dragons in the game. Cloud9 tries to answer back on the top side. Going to get that found quite fast with Blood Boil, so they don't waste too much time.
Yeah, just the first turret of the game, though, for Cloud9. They're losing the objective game as far as neutral objectives and turret objectives here. And they're hoping that Balls will be able to carry them out of this. However, against a Trist, Ryze, and Xerath, it's a lot of damage to throw down right back onto the Mundo. It'll be very difficult for him to get to a point of invulnerability. TSM is looking very strong here.
Definitely vision all over. 4 sight stones up already. Pinks and greens still in the inventories. As I say, got the light bright going on towards the top side of the map right now. 16 minutes in. Every team has a pretty good security system. Right now we're going to get Turtle grabbing up the red buff, possibly trying to get something going for the team here as they're going to start huddling down towards the mid lane, maybe get a push. Not much to grab. Dragon's down, Baron's not really an option just yet, but Sneaky did hit that Triforce spike, so see if he starts to create more as he did last time.
TSM's trying to freeze the lanes a little bit too, give Dyrus time to farm while his teleport is up, knowing that Dragon is not an objective on the map at the moment. Continually trying to counter jungle the Nunu, which is a bit of a role reversal right there. TSM's done a very good job of just taking a different sector of the jungle than Meteos has been and not getting taken out by anything sneaky.
Ooh, that was almost quite sneaky. High takes a good amount of damage there. He's forced to get out. Amazing does not feel scared to be in that side of the jungle. He stays. The rest of the team and Lustboy looking for this bottom turret. TSM, wherever they are, they also have more to take. Great job by WildTurtle to bring up this turret. And again, Bjergsen on the outside, ready to rain in some damage.
Slick little dive. Cloud9 is now forced into reactive type of play because TSM is making the first move in all these situations. Got to be careful not to take too much poke because Xerath would be able to come in for the finishers. Also like the distortion boots early from Bjergsen.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Increasing the move speed of his Ghost to 40% could actually be very beneficial if he's going to run down people late in fights, because there's a good chance of something like that happening here. As well as the cooldown reduction as well. He just needs to... He's trying to get rid of the weakness of Xerath a little bit, because Xerath is very weak when people can close in on him, so he's just augmenting his ability to escape more by having his summoner spells up more frequently, and then being a little bit more powerful.
Turtle on the front side, you can see him spacing nicely so he can jump over the wall to Bjergsen if needed, and then Bjergsen would pretty much be able to help get those kills with Lustboy. What control here. 4-man squads, and Cloud9 is completely staying away from them.
TSM is so much stronger, and walking into a fed Xerath is a little bit suicidal, so it's really just Cloud9 trying to take as much farm as possible without giving up that back-breaking fight, hoping the TSM will make a mistake somewhere along the lines, and that Cloud9 can capitalize.
Well, they don't have terrible wave clear, but once TSM gets stronger, they are going to be able to take down these turrets without worry of those dissonance and void oozes coming out of Sneaky. They back off for now. Not too much pressure to create it on the mid turret with that clear being so efficient from Cloud9 at this point. They also have to be careful of that shockwave. A good shockwave Glacial Fissure can start to turn this around. Cloud9 has an immense amount of area of effect damage if they can get into the fight.
Yeah, that's a big thing. If they can get the right shockwave down, it could very well just cut through TSM's whole plan right there. But honestly, TSM's accumulating such a huge advantage. Cloud9 is not really pulling the trigger in any of these fights because of that early game disadvantage. By the time they would want to pull the trigger, it may be too late.
This is crazy, Jat. The best of fives definitely bring out a different type of team. TSM showing again that they cannot be knocked down mentally, and they come back again and again on a game 4.
I mean, TSM, they're good at running League of Legends marathons. Ever since Locodoka came in, a lot of the players wake up early, they go running together. Then they go and play 10 hours of scrims, and then they go have 4 hours of solo queue practice. Like, these guys have built up so much endurance from their practice schedule. Playing 4 or 5 hours in high pressure situations is something they can do and continue to play at a high level.
Even adding on to that, you got people like WildTurtle. How many challenger accounts? Just people that consistently play. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's the reason they say Froggen is so good, just because he never stops playing.
Yeah, and he loves the game so much.
Makes it even better. Never have to work a day in your life if you do something you love, Jat.
It's one of the big things the Cloud9 players have, though. They genuinely love playing the game. They all formed together. If we think back to the early Season 3, Cloud9 had 4 players in the top 10 of Challenger on their roster, on their starting roster, and they are very similar to TSM in that way. So it's a recipe for success.
Seems like the players are done letting us talk. They want to engage again.
Perhaps. I mean, the Dragon's up in 33 seconds. If Cloud9 keeps giving these small advantages to TSM, eventually there will not be a fight to come back in the game, so maybe they're choosing this point to try and force something, but it is difficult. They do not have vision control set up, and TSM has so much power with the poke of Xerath.
This is the thing I like, is Bjergsen pretty much disappears when these objective fights happen. He'll be on the side somewhere. There he is with the rest of the team. Cloud9's trying to find him.
Good, decent amount of damage
onto him to start the game. Ball's feeling way more confident to walk himself into this one. Nice focus from the explosive shot, so he can't just lickety-split, use his ultimate to get back up to HP. Wow, they are taking a lot of damage. Sneaky able to rein in from the outside there. High with the blue buff, able to add and relieve. Oh, wow, the shockwave goes out, but is it going to be enough? A huge knockback there. Stand by.
What a block by LemonNation.
Super good, and they are going to continue this one. Stand behind me used by LemonNation. Keeps High alive, but he's out of the fight.
Single-handedly saving High's life there. He jumps in front of him, and then WildTurtle targets the Braum because they're basically right on top of each other. And now they're trying to zone off this Dragon. Maybe they pull for a fight. This is tense.
They are fighting this without High right now, and he could be taken down by Dyrus instantly. He is going to eventually get him down. And on the other side of the fight, Cloud9's trying to adapt to this one. They're looking at low health bars, but amazing. He's trying to be the front line. Great job by Dyrus to initiate. Takes the blue as well.
Yeah, High goes down, but Cloud9 secures the Dragon. So overall in gold, they're still doing all right. High had already died multiple times this game, so it's not the end of the world for them.
True.
It's going to be about getting back in position to stop TSM from taking secondary objectives after the fact.
Very nicely done with the top lane prepped here. Going to go around to the red buff and top turret. Actually, They may not have time to be able to grab this. The wave gets cleared out, and they are going to have to back after just denying the buff. Still very good for them to grab. And C9 using this time, you see Meteos hauling ass towards Baron to start getting vision down.
I would say an impressive show of strength here by Cloud9 to be able to withstand this. So Shockwave onto Dyrus, and then check this out. The Buster shot went right into LemonNation to knock him back instead of into High. The sole reason he was able to stay alive. The ultimate otherwise would have killed him.
Yep, I like the choices. Summoner heal for High, barrier coming in for Bjergsen. To each his own, but keeping each other alive. 4-1, 22.5 into this game. We start getting a little bit of split push tango between Dyrus and Balls here in the bottom lane. As the wards, as we were saying, completely set out by Meteos. Now, he starts to grab himself some magic resistance, turns into the cowl. He'll be quite safe from a lot of this Bjergsen outside damage. Dyrus as well. See what they can continue to do. WildTurtle takes the top lane by himself. Looks like he'll have protection at least right below him with all the wards that Lustboy is trying to set up. Again, Lustboy keeping the vision up for Team SoloMid with the rest of the team. Doing a great job. Talisman of Ascension is something he loves building, keeping them in and out of the fights. It's so good with the speed up of the Nami spell passives.
And they needed to create the right catches, or even just to run away as well, trying to combo the disengage of the tidal wave with the move speed.
Yeah. In or out. Definitely
important.
Out if they're the AoE in.
Right here, though, it's about TSM taking control of deeper and deeper territory, and whether or not they can find a catch. That's a catch.
They know what's going down. It's going to be LemonNation first. Slowly, the health bar is drained down, but that's the AoE that Amazing and the rest of the team really can't get caught in. Dyrus' teleport came in just after the absolute zero. He tries to throw down on Sneaky. One, and the dodges come out. Beautiful job by the Void Puppy going back and forth. Amazing gets himself a little too deep, thinking Kadma wouldn't be able to get the damage back for the retribution kill. Now onto Balls, but he is going to be fine. The ultimate's already been used. He's healthy.
Sneaky was absolutely incredible that fight, dodging all 3 of the shots from Bjergsen's ultimate, and then still having the presence of mind to turn around and finish off Amazing. Despite getting caught there, and despite Dyrus teleporting in before Balls, Cloud9 still wins the fight, 2-1.
Finding it in the jungle, I don't think TSM's going to want that again. Let's watch this.
Yeah, so they kick back a pretty tanky guy in LemonNation right there. He absorbs a lot of the damage because of his shield, gets a face the mountain and a shield for Maurice, and ends up just running away after that one. But think about how early Dyrus got into that fight. He does 75% of Sneaky's health bar, and then flashes the first, dips, dodge, and dives after that one. And then Balls pushes the rest of him back after that fight because he's a very tanky Mundo. This game is still winnable for Cloud9.
That's what you're talking about, that guy in the top lane who could become a very big front line, and he's doing just that. As long as WildTurtle can't cut him down, they don't have the Morello Namicon coming out in this build. We've seen it a lot this weekend for Mundos, but it's up to Turtle to shut down on those grievous wounds. More than that, just to go through this game though. Cutlass coming up for Sneaky, or rather Blade of the Rune King I should say, and a 2-item finish from Turtle here. So both teams trying to get an advantage of their spikes. TSM got a little too antsy there trying to do that though.
Sneaky relative to the game is not as farmed as he was last match.
Yeah, correct.
He was about 1,000 gold ahead of everyone else in the game. Here, he is 4th place in gold, actually. He has less gold than WildTurtle, Bjergsen, and Dyrus. So not the same presence, which just means he has to play that much better to stay alive. As we saw with those fancy jukes, Blade of the Rune King will be a huge thing for him in trying to slice through in these team fights. And honestly, Kai is having another one of these bad games. It's kind of like Cloud9 needing that shock from the shockwave to actually turn these fights. He's landed good shockwaves, but he has been a consistent focus of TSM. Take out the shock caller and
absolutely.
It's hard to shock off from the grave.
1 minute on the clock for Dragon to come out. TSM getting exactly what they want. Side lanes could be pushing a little bit more. Looks like they were going to have Dyrus do that possibly, but he's floating, trying to ward, and then they do decide to have him go down towards the bottom lane. Just deciding what they want. They're going to start spreading it quite thin here just to get the vision they need so they can start making moves.
And this has been the battle for TSM for the last 6 minutes or so, just trying to break Cloud9. Ever since Cloud9 actually was able to take that dragon, they're slowly clawing their way back. They're still in a pretty heavy deficit, but if they can keep taking dragons and not losing turrets, they would be able to hold on. That's why it's of utmost importance that either TSM gets a catch here to kill more turrets, or that they can control this Dragon that is up in 30 seconds. I feel like with the Baron threat right now, the Dragon secure will be easier for them, but they do have to respect this Cloud9 team.
Absolutely. Sneaky coming up next few levels, at least 4 for that max range ultimate. Even Bjergsen won't be safe on the outside of these fights. Good take from WildTurtle to deny. Take a bit of extra damage on the way out from Rocket Jump, but Lustboy always within range of WildTurtle. They keep sure that that's a team that they always have together. Live or Dragon, and that's where they're going to be heading. Team SoloMid down to the bottom. This is good. They actually have something to fight over. That's not Cloud9's base.
This time Bjergsen landed a lot of poke instead of getting poked, but Amazing is still not very low on that Dragon. We could very well see that fight. Block the tidal wave. Let's see if they re-engage.
Ball's out, so that's going to zone them quite a lot. Once the ball is out, it kind of denies it a little bit. Everybody knows where it is. You see High backing up again. Going to get it clear on the mid wave, and then he'll come in just a little bit on the fight for another entry, possibly get the shockwave that he wants. Dragon.
He stole it.
Dragon getting stolen by Meteos. That's the shockwave that he wanted. Lustboy on the backside. That all starting down. Bjergsen is just raining in damage, and he does find Sneaky. The boy puppy gets dropped. What a fight coming from Team SoloMid as they limp away. 4 for nothing.
That poke from TSM eventually just poked Cloud9 to death. The ultimate that time for Bjergsen just wrecked Cloud9 as they were trying to disengage, and Turtle and Amazing could hop in for the finish. Even if they're low, there's so many of them alive. This Baron is theirs.
What a great job by Team SoloMid, Jet. I thought it was looking a little shaky when they could not break the front of the base, but they just bought themselves time and they got the fight they wanted. A Dragon. Let's see it again.
Yeah, I mean, getting the Dragon steal was nice, and then Cloud9 is desperately actually just trying to use disengage spells here. The Shockwave was for the disengage, but they couldn't stop Dyrus, so he's putting a bunch of AoE down, and then the Xerath ultimates. This time, Sneaky could not dodge all of them. Amazing and Turtle were in there getting resets. As much damage as they put on a Turtle, it wasn't quite enough, and that may be Cloud9 breaking.
Fast fingers from Dyrus that time paid off. He hit the ultimate to just squeeze out of the range of that shockwave and get his movement speed. Those rune prisons really started to lock down the fight. Good plays on him and really coming back around this game. 3-0 and 5 for him.
This would be quite a road for TSM if they could win the next 2 games in this series. Coming from the 3rd seed in the playoffs, not getting a bye, having to take out Dikantos in 4 games, LMQ in 5, and then they would have to win this one in 5 as well. But they're looking quite good in this game for 7,000 gold separating them and Cloud9. And Cloud9 was trying to play a little hide-and-go-seek, but they got spotted in the bottom lane, meaning this mid-turret is temporarily exposed.
TSM knows, though, without a lot of vision behind them. I believe they walked through one more that was cleared, but they are forced to back off. Playing it safe, 6,000 gold lead right now. Only 4-2 in turrets. It seems like the map should be destroyed right now, but the vision game has kind of staved everybody off from getting too much of what they want. What they can do with this Baron. Good wait out here by Cloud9. They're not going to want to do too much, but like you said, they went for the bottom lane until they were found out. Trying to take Baron off 1 by 1 is going to be a very hard task.
And this Cloud9 team isn't as much about getting small catches or assassinations. It's actually very much a bruisery, tanky teamfight team. Everyone very big on this team, Mundo, Nunu, Braum. So when they fall behind like this, it is much more difficult for them to maneuver a comeback.
Still trying to shut them down. Amazing with the forward wards along with Lustboy. This is a death squad in itself right here. They already have their protection for WildTurtle in the top lane. He's been having fun on the turret all alone by himself. He picks up a little bit more, 260 to 240, 1-1 and 7. Oh man, actually
he's caught.
Huge. What a lockdown from across the map. You can't even get to safety. Everybody's got eyes on you. TSM starting to head down mid lane.
Now that is some solo lane synergy if I've ever seen it. Dyrus just running straight up the gut for Sneaky, comboed with Bjergsen's ultimate, and now they have a strong push in the mid lane. Kana's gonna try and trade something back, but this inhibitor is done for.
That showed immense power. You couldn't even be peeled off by Meteos on that one, and Nunu couldn't even make it happen. So Sneaky goes down, free hit for the inhibitor here, and Bjergsen and the team get to use Baron quite efficiently. They'll probably be back in time to stop this if they even want to.
Yeah, Ball's just trying to get as much farm as possible while he's down here in the bottom lane, but it may be just far too little, a little too late, because as tanky as he can be, if Sneaky is unable to stay alive in any of these fights, the damage will not be there for Cloud9.
WildTurtle coming out on the outside here. Actually, Last Whisper as a third item for him. Wanting to crush down, seeing the Thornmail already on balls, armor already being built up on a few others as well. Meteos there. Interesting. Dyrus and balls in the bottom lane. They're going at it. It's not looking too good for him, but there's the active on the ultimate. Will he be able to take him down? Machine Gun Rise coming out big here. A few more, but Dyrus won't be able to put out the DPS as Balls is able to head for home on this one. He's not going to give him
He's got backup again.
Trying orb coming in. There's one, and he hits the last one over the shoulder of Dyrus. He just ducked a little bit, let it go by.
Dyrus keeps throwing him up, and Bjergsen keeps stuffing him home. These are alley-oops right there for Dyrus and Bjergsen, keeping him still. It's so easy for him to finish off these kills. The tankiest member of the team just shut down by the 2 AP carries right there of TSM.
What an awesome composition coming to light. We really haven't seen it utilized like that all year long. That's great. Beautiful plays here. Dyrus now 4-0-6. TSM definitely getting the talks they need from Reginald and Loco Doco between these games. And it looks like from right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting to game 5, but it is still not over. 11-3. Cloud9 is going to be trying to come back very hard here. The split push strategy of Balls not working so well with the amount of control TSM has. And they're already finding Meteos while he's trying to take Wolves.
Yeah, they're trying to force off all these Banshees Vels. They have an exterior turret still to clear, so it will still be a little while until they close this one out. Cloud9 not completely out of the woods. They have everyone alive right now. If they land a fantastic shockwave, they still have a chance. But boy, does this TSM team look good.
Looking good indeed, chat. They're one more turret away from just hitting the base.
Bad trouble.
The shockwave indeed misses. That's also low mana for high on the backside, and TSM is going to push up feeling a lot safer.
Without that shockwave threat, what's to stop TSM from diving in this turret? There will not be nearly that much to punish them. They can enter through the mid lane if they so choose to, but they can just push down this.
That wasn't exactly a whole bunch of high missing that, but TSM just being ready, knowing that Cloud9 needs to bite on these attacks and get something out of them, but TSM is using that to their advantage. Slowly and slowly dwindling out ultimates and possibly summoner spells here if they can get good attacks on it. They will not draw summoners, but they are getting Cloud9 to run some chaos in their own base.
Dyrus a little bit low on mana, which would dissuade them from pushing farther potentially, but the turret did get taken to about half health there. Because the Dragon is up, because the Baron is soon, TSM is going to take this one slow.
Not wanting to make any mistakes coming into this one. TSM wants that game 5, and they want it to be a good one. The momentum is going to be huge for them. And Dragon will also be theirs coming into 35 minutes. 3 of 5 Dragons there. The first Baron goes to TSM as we saw. That was just about 7 minutes ago. 30 seconds left, and we're going to have that next Baron.
And I really wonder what Cloud9 could even hope to do about this Baron. Look at the map. There's one ward outside of Cloud9's base right now. One single ward. For a team with 2 tight zones, they just haven't been able to get out because they've been so heavily punished by TSM. They're getting a few wards up in their own jungle right now, but they have to retreat shortly just because of the threat of TSM.
Still looking at builds here. A lot of item spikes coming out still on both sides. It's quite early in this game. AD carry is still getting a lot of what they need. Cutlass coming out for WildTurtle. Infinity Edge for Sneaky, which would be something he would have easily had last game. We talked about his clip. Very different coming into this one on more Kog'Maw play.
Yeah, Dyrus, Bjergsen, and WildTurtle are all well over 2,000 gold ahead of Sneaky. And Meteos just trying to get vision control, having to run away.
The flash, nobody's really going to be able to help this engage. Sneaky is on the side there. Voidooz doesn't really hit the team. And this is the disengage that Team SoloMid has. The Talisman already used. Meteos throwing down the ultimate, but he only gets one. A lot is being used for only the few members of Team SoloMid here. Oh, the artillery coming in from Bjergsen on the backside. Could this finalize him? No, it's going to be wild.
This is going to be a penalty. One more.
He's going to be looking for the penta, but Balls won't give it to him. The quadra kill instantly coming up. Team SoloMid looking to end the game out here. 40 seconds across the board. Balls is going to have a hell of a time defending this one.
Well, they don't have the minions, but they do have 5 members of TSM. They're looking to end this one 37 minutes in.
That's a pretty big Dyrus. Frozen Hart on top of the health and everything of the Seraph's Embrace. The shield to be used if they need it as well. They're going to lock down the first Nexus turret. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a Game 5 in the LCS Playoff Finals. Team SoloMid takes Game 4 over Cloud9.
How many 5-game series are going to go the distance here in the North American playoffs? Definitely the last one, because TSM just took down Cloud9 for the second time ever in the playoffs.
They have to be feeling really good right now. Dyrus had a great game, holding the emotion this time, not letting it get the best of him, which worked yesterday, but can also get you a little ahead of yourself. Just keeps it calm. Cloud9 definitely has a few things to talk about now, but both teams have. It's been a back and forth. That's why we're going to a Game 5.
And Cloud9 challenged for the first time ever, really, in the playoffs. They had never dropped a game before this. And in a small sense, it's very good for North America that the top teams are challenging each other at this level. They will not be lackadaisical heading into Worlds, and this first seed will feel very much earned. The stress of these best-of-5s going back and forth, it's all very good learning experiences for these guys.
It's been a ridiculous split of top-bottom teams happening. TSM, like we said, they can't beat top teams. They can beat the lower ones, but it doesn't matter now in the best-of-5 series. LMQ came through and did some crazy things. All the play this summer just made every team better with the caliber that was brought to the North American scene, and we're seeing it now.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what adjustments get made for Game 5, because the first pick of the blue side has commanded so much power and presence here. I mean, the Rise, especially in this last game, the Zed for the 2 Cloud9 games. How will the pick and bans change now? Because this second rotation of TSM being on blue side was vastly different than the first. So Cloud9 tried a big change up. From the first to the third game, which is when Cloud9 was on blue side, there wasn't very much change from TSM's side. Do they roll the dice 3 times in a row, or do they make a big change? Because as we saw here, the big change from Cloud9 didn't work. There's a lot of mind games that are going to be going on. It's very important. Both teams have their coaches here. Charlie for Cloud9's got a lot. Loco and Reggie have a lot to do from TSM. I can't wait to see what they come up with.
It's going to be intense, and we have so much more to talk about. The score was all tied up, so let's send it over to the guys at the analyst desk to break down this amazing slugfest.
Thanks, Riv. And gentlemen, we are going to Game 5.
I am so freaking hyped for this Game 5 right now. I thought it was going to be 3-0 for Cloud9. 3-1. It's going to be 3-2 either way right now. These teams, they have so much stress on them. This is just so good.
And there is so much on the line now, and the pressure is mounting more than it ever has. So let's look at both of these teams individually in terms of what they need to do to perform at their utmost in this final game. Cloud9, Zyrene, hit me.
Cloud9, he didn't have a good game. He needs to turn it around. His level 1 stuff, those shenanigans cost them that early game lead, which TSM did not let up the pressure, and they just kept their foot on the gas. Dyrus got snowballing. He seems to be one of the most emotional players that is currently on that stage. We saw him in a Game 5 versus LMQ. He went absolutely crazy. Is he going to do it again? I think he might.
All right, and on TSM's side, we just called out Dyrus for picking it up, but Bjergsen, he's been playing pretty well so far this series, Pobelter.
Yeah, his ultimate's onto the... Because like what would happen every single time was Dyrus would walk up with his ultimate, root Sneaky, and then Bjergsen would just land every single ultimate and Sneaky would die.
Yeah, there's definitely an aspect of a lack of dive on the side of Cloud9. Is there a pick other than Mundo maybe they should have gone for, seeing that Xerath, saying we're going to have to get to him to keep Sneaky alive?
I think the problem wasn't really the Mundo because, like, really what else could you pick? Like, most of the good diving meta champions were banned, Alistar, Maokai. I think the problem was in the early pick Nunu. And so TSM was really good on recognizing that they would run and protect the Kog'Maw comp with little engage. And so that Xerath pick was just really perfect.
All right, let's go into a replay about 28 minutes in. It's a 4-for-0 by TSM. And it's a perfect example of what you were talking about here, Pobelter, with the lockdown of the Kog'Maw and then the Xerath ults to follow up. So I'm going to let you explain this one for us.
So we can roll the clip. Sneaky's been playing like pretty well so far. He's just been evading and living very closely every time. They're just kind of kiting around right now, poking each other. And then, yeah, so C9 is starting to get very low from the Xerath poke. They start the TSM starts the dragon because C9 is so low. And right here, C9 should just back off. It's impossible for them to win this fight because they're so poked. Nunu actually does get the smite steal. But Dyrus, like I said, he just starts running it sneaky with his ultimate, gets the root off. Bjergsen gets all the ultimates on him. Everyone else is getting destroyed by Amazing and Turtle right now. And TSM just cleans them up.
There's just so much poke on the side of TSM with that Xerath. And I love seeing that pick come out because it's somewhat unconventional when you do have those assassins on the board that would normally play into beating it pretty well.
Yeah, Xerath is really good at killing the Kog'Maw because he just outranges him. And in a Protect the Kog'Maw comp, once the Kog'Maw dies, you're pretty much screwed. There's nothing you can do because you have no damage.
Well, and then we see TSM. Right, they go straight to Baron. They pick that up, and they just rolled that momentum so well into a victory. So they've got to feel pretty hot coming into this last game.
They've been in this situation before, and Cloud9 has never been pushed this much in a best-of-5, in a playoff game in North America. They had something along these lines at Worlds with a best-of-3, but nothing like this. They lost 2 games, their first 2 playoff losses ever against TSM. This is huge for TSM, and it's pretty big for Cloud9, too. They have to win this.
That's a pretty good point there. The fact that Cloud9 has yet to really be contested in the NA playoffs. So there's got to be some questions that arise in terms of their mental endurance, their ability to play out a 5-game series in a situation that they may have expected to be able to, run away with.
Yeah, and speaking of that situation that they thought they were going to run away with, I have the regular season stats right here. These mean absolutely nothing right now. These are my stats from the last 4 games. These mean absolutely nothing right now in comparison to what's going down in this single game. All of that past means nothing at this moment. It is what those players are going to do on that stage, their picks, their bans, their play, their level 1, and what they do with the advantages they create for themselves in the lanes. I am so hyped for this game right now. I can barely contain it. I cannot wait to get in there.
And Jat, we heard Jat talking about the mind games that are going to be played going into this final game because of the fact that they are switching sides, strategies have worked, they haven't worked, things like that. So, Pobelter, TSM, once again, they're having their huddle. What are Loco and Reggie telling to their players right now when it comes to picks and bans?
I have no clue, but I'm sure he's just trying to keep them together, making sure they don't get too cocky. I think if they can get high on another farm-style champion, then that'll be very good for them, so that's probably what their draft will aim for.
All right. Well, we'll see if any of this gets done. It's going to be a wild ride, to say the least. We do have to take one final break, but if you have any other Labor Day plans, cancel them, because we're going to Game 5 between Cloud9 and TSM. Our Championship Monday continues after this.
I don't care if you're a winner or lose, but let's have fun.
Hey,
That's all
wait,
that
is
matters.
Slowly the health bar is drained down, but that's the AoE that Amazing and the rest of the team really can't get caught in. That's the shockwave that he wanted. Lustboy on the backside, that ult's already down. Bjergsen is just raining in damage, and he does find sneaking. 1-1 and 7. Oh man, actually
He's
this could
caught.
be huge. What a lockdown. Oh, the artillery coming in from Bjergsen on the backside. Could just finalize him. No,